To carry out her revenge, she spent over 10 years as if raising a pet. Carl, puzzled, thought Kurt deserved to be cancelled. So why didn't Neat finally take her out? Neat's answer was shocking, because after years of breakup, her boyfriend suddenly showed up like an Easter egg. They shared happy times. Seeing her old love return, Neat realized she had wasted good days on hate, like dancing while eating. She couldn't let hate take over her life, so she decided to move on like tossing out old clothes. That's why she didn't take Kurt out. After hearing Neat's story, Carl showed deep sympathy and vowed to catch Kurt. Meanwhile, he said the secret meeting tonight required little socializing. No one knew of their meeting. She never intended to capture Neat. Her covert investigation was solely to uncover the truth. After Neat left, Carl contacted Russ and was surprised the assistant ventured to Kurt's clinic alone. Indeed, they suspected Kurt had captured Noel, the sole witness. Worse, Russ couldn't reach his assistant, so he urged Carl to lead a rescue squad. Check if the assistant was in danger. The camera then panned to him, fast asleep at Dr. Kurt's office, as Noel had passed out. Seeing the assistant drowsy, Dr. Kurt seemed unusually calm, as if in full control. The assistant called a colleague for help. He stayed to control Kurt. His colleague soon returned, saying reinforcements were coming. Just as the assistant relaxed, his colleague unexpectedly fired, catching him off guard. As Carl said, Kurt had strong support, even with moles in the police. But after handling the assistant, when the doctor was to resume working out on money, Carl arrived in time to rescue Noel and the assistant. The assistant got emergency treatment and escaped danger. At the film's end, Noel bravely shouted out, using her own personal experience to accuse Kurt and his accomplices, and under Noel's lead, the police received a series of complaints. Over 60 victims accused of forced sterilization. So when Carl visited Kurt's clinic, he found out the colleague who shot the assistant that night was the suspect. Therefore, after piecing together clues and victims' accusations, Kurt and his accomplices got their due. Yet, they were just scapegoats thrown under the bus, a bunch of clowns really. The real killers are the powerful elites. When mentioning childhood shadows, many first think of Electric Spirit. Today, we're going to talk about another niche sci-fi flick from the writer of Electric Spirit, released in It is also one of the top cyberpunk movies in recent years. So, without further ado, let's explore the $6 million sci-fi flick and see what old plot twists it set. The story takes place in a highly advanced tech era in the future, specifically in 2033 America. Protagonist Gray, a traditional craftsman, does everything himself and nostalgic, distrusting AI. However, he has a beautiful wife who works in the field of artificial intelligence. One day, Gray told his wife he needed to return a friend's car for repairs, so he needed her to drive the self-driving car to drop him. Otherwise, he would miss the first bus after returning the car. Little did Gray know, this decision would utterly change the fate of him, his wife, and all of humanity. Upon meeting Gray's friend, his wife was astounded, not realizing he was the CEO of the largest tech company. Next, Alan showcased a newly developed smart chip that looked just like a tiny bug. He called it smart, claiming it could control anything in the world, while Gray saw it as just a useless bug. Who would have thought that this laughable bug would entirely change her life? On the way home, while chatting, the self-driving car suddenly malfunctioned, veering off course. They were led to a thug-filled fun zone. The car flipped from loss of control, sparking brutal violence. One thug unhesitatingly shot Gray's wife, while another thug injected something into Gray's spine. By the time the police arrived, it was already too late, but fortunately, Gray managed to cling to life. He not only lost his beloved wife, but was also left paralyzed for life by severe injuries, relying on the AI he once distrusted. His mother comforted him, saying even though he lost his mobility, Gray could still find a job on a local class life to add sight to support them. His mother didn't know the double blow gave Gray one reason to live, seeing his wife's killer caught. The female detective in charge of the case told him that the thugs were very cunning and had slipped away before their withdrawn tech. They couldn't confirm the identity of the criminals, and Gray felt as hopeless as getting slapped in the face by her. She didn't know how to avenge her wife. In despair, Alan found her, offering to restore her mobility via smart tech. But the catch was that Gray couldn't tell anyone. However, Gray, who distrusted AI, wasn't interested at all. This led Gray to deep thoughts. Maybe what Alan said was right. Her wife would want her to live happily. After much thought, Gray went to Alan's lab, ready to undergo the smart chip surgery. But since she was the first human to merge with smart tech, nobody knew what would happen next. But luck seemed to be on her side. The surgery went incredibly well, and Grey quickly got back on her feet. I must say, this invention stunned the world, and mobility restored Grey's hope for life. Yet, Grey didn't know that the smart tech's abilities surpassed her imagination. She was about to be drawn into a massive conspiracy. Hey, what's that? I'm Stan, and the system is executing in your body. Don't worry too much.